pavement looked at him. He was a gentleman from sole to crown, clean-favored and imperially slim. And he was always quietly arrayed, and he was always human when he talked. But still, he fluttered pulses when he said, "Good morning," and he glittered when he walked. And he was rich, yes, richer than a king, and admirably schooled in every grace. In fun, he thought that he was everything, to make us wish that we were in his place. So on we worked, and waited for the light, and went without meat, and cursed the bread. And Richard Cory, one calm summer night, went home and put a bullet through his head. What happened when you read that, Lord?
I was like, what? What do you mean?
And it was like, Arlington writes this quick and dirty. It's like quick and dirty, right? So basically, I broke down the stanzas. If we look at the stanzas, and I only did this for this one because it was so short. So if we look at sort of each stanza, and remember a stanza is like a paragraph's cousin, right? So each stanza, and then you have the lines in each stanza. If we look at stanza 1, we know that he was admired, he was well dressed and kingly. So that slim, imperially slim, does not mean that he was skinny. If you research that, it meant that he dressed like very kingly, okay? And he got people's attention. It was probably implied that he was a gentleman, so he definitely got your attention. In stanza 2, if we break it down line for line, he dressed modestly, and he was down to earth, but despite that, it was evident that he was rich. So even though he was modest, it was very evident that he was still rich, yeah? Almost like a king to the people of the pavement, because they said he was, but he was down to earth, meaning that he was human when he talked, so that's how you knew he was down to earth. And then in stanza 3, he was richer than a king. That was obviously obvious. He was smart, because it said he was schooled in every grace. People wished they were like him, but do you think people hated him?
I think they envied him.
Pardon?
I think they envied him.
They envied him, yeah. So I don't think it was more so hate, but definitely envy. And then if you look at stanza 4, they worked and wanted to be like Cory, and they went without meals. So that's how poor they were, because that line, went without the meat and cursed the bread, meant that they didn't eat, like they went without food. So you could imagine how poor they were and how rich this man was. And then we know at the end that he killed himself. So the tone of the poem, and remember we talked about poems having different tones, I would say that this is a very respectful tone, right? It wasn't, although like Desiree said, we could gather that there was envy there was a definite level of respect when it came to Cory. Just how they spoke about him, down to earth, he was educated, he was well respected, okay? Basically, this is a narrative poem, and all of the poems that we were going to look at today are narrative poems. What is a narrative poem? Can anybody remember? It does what?
It tells a story.
It tells a story. So, albeit this story was quick and fast, we have a sort of understanding of a wealthy man who was intelligent, who is envied, and seemingly has everything, but still kills himself. So his only accomplishment that the readers know about is that he kills himself. It doesn't say anything about he gives to the poor, he feeds the poor. It's sort of like this Hail King Richard Cory, and then we only know that the only thing he does in the poem is kill himself. That's his biggest accomplishment. It's ironic because, so that's where irony comes in, because he seems to have everything, and yet he commits suicide. Money will buy me happy. I don't know about you guys. I'll buy a nice big boat and be happy right on that boat.
He probably had other demons that were bothering.
Absolutely, I need to put a bullet through your head, good lord.
And not too many people feel like that's fulfilling, or maybe what their work hard actually desires. It's like they have everything and nothing at the same time.
I mean, look at some of these actors and actresses. I think the most shocking suicide was definitely Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Like, I liked him. If I watched his Doubtfire like 1.5 million times, like, I just could not believe that. But you also need to be mindful that there are a lot of people who wear the mask. I went to my friend's church yesterday and the pastor was talking about masks, and I'm like, man, and at first I was like, this man, I'm glad not be preaching about COVID because I'm sick of this. No, I'm not wear this mask up in this church. But he was talking about how we wear masks to disguise ourselves, and we do, right? So if I'm depressed, I could come in here and still put on my mask and teach him happy and go home and be back and depressed. So my husband could have blocked my eye and put on my makeup and I keep covered this film, and he did not. It's like, stop using references like that. One time I was teaching from him, it's like, stop doing that because somebody comes looking for me. But so it just goes to show that it was very ironic because everybody was envious of him. He had everything, and then he goes in and commits suicide.